Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing really well. Today, I am in wonderful Bournemouth and I have come to a permission visit air raid shelter in someone's back garden. I just want to say how exciting this is and how cool it is as well. Yeah, I've just already taken a look inside, and trust me when I say this is a really, really good air raid shelter. So stay with me and let's go and explore it. Come on. How cool is this? Let me tell you about it. Well, welcome back. You know, sometimes I have to pinch myself at how lucky I get for these permission visits. This is, as far as we know, this has never been actually recorded on footage. There's been a couple of photos that have circulated, but never actually of the actual air raid shelter itself. There's been a few photos and that lot taken of the top and of the entrance, which is just behind me. But however, this is the first proper video footage that we can sort of safely say is now out there as a form of historical documentation. Now, I'm allowed to say that we're in Bournemouth, but obviously I'm not going to give you the details as to where this is, because really, you know, the owner, it's unfair that they're going to get lots of knocks on the door. So hopefully you can respect that. And if for some strange reason you do know the location of this, please kindly just keep it to yourself. It would really mean a lot to not only me, but obviously to the owner himself. Richard, by the way, I just want to say thank you so much, buddy. Can't stop smiling on this one. So, what is there to talk about on this one? We know that this was made of concrete slabs going across, technically labelled as a civil shelter and probably also a communal shelter as well. There might have been a few along this road, but not 100% accurate on that, although we're pretty sure there might be. But what makes this one really stand out is that above ground there is a rockery, and it's just camouflaged into this garden, and as I walked behind it, because I know where it was, it's really interesting to sort of see that, and then you sort of go, okay, well, that's the rocker, it's really cool. And then the moment you come down in here, the condition of this place is absolutely incredible. And Richard was sort of saying to me that before this, the previous owner, she'd had all these doors that she used as storage down here, which is obviously quite common for air raid shelters. Now, what's also really cool about this is that it's a very fancy air raid shelter in a strange way, because it's definitely not an Anderson shelter, as we know, and it's just this rectangular, purpose-built air raid shelter made up of, like I said, concrete blocks. Again, this isn't unusual, but what's also really cool is that the escape hatch, which is just behind me here, has got basically a skylight in it. And they sort of, it's crazy because it looks like they've sort of cut corners, but on other areas they haven't cut corners. And I've seen that before on some especially private air raid shelters that have been in people's like backs of their mansions and stuff like this. So it's quite special when you see this. The ladder, which is, I can just point to it there, but you'll see it obviously in the footage. The ladder was used. That's the original ladder, by the way, that was used for the traversing out of this for the escape hatch. And then behind me, you've got the steps. But what's so cool about this is you've got the original Bakelite light switches and the power goes directly back into the house. So, and it all still works, crazily enough, or most of it sort of still works, from what I was told. And then you've got, lying here, you've got this beautiful bench, but it's a concrete bench. It's a solid concrete bench. So not the most pleasant of things to sort of sit on, but obviously it's great because it sort of serves two functions. You can lie on it as like a sort of like a solid bed, pretty fit a few people, by the way, or you can just obviously use it as seating. Now, the other really interesting thing about this is the size of it. The size of this shelter doesn't justify the house behind. And what I mean by that is this could easily fit at least two families in here. And it might sort of be something to sort of speculate over the fact that that probably could have been right, that maybe there was a shelter per each 2 houses, maybe. Just speculating there and throwing that out there, because it's a very large shelter just for a single family. We know that really most of the time they probably would have just covered just as Anderson shelters. You've also got, which is really cool, you've got, it's either at the moment, it's either, there's drainage, but whether that was used for a toilet or whether that was used for whether that was used for a toilet or whether it was used just as drainage itself, it's just interesting, and we don't know yet. The reason why it's unusual if it is a toilet is because it's actually very, very, very small, not uncommon, and where it is by the entrance, which is just here to my left here, that's where it is, just behind there. It's quite possible that the drain that there was used for a toilet, but also it's not wet down here at all. In fact, the only wet, damp place that gets constantly wet is on the bottom of those steps just at the front. But apart from that, the condition is brilliant down here. I mean, it's so cool. The other thing to note is above me, there are wooden slats going across with the concrete still on top. Now, what that looks like is that when they were building this, they put the wooden slats across as obviously the form of moulding to sort of weigh it down, but they've not taken the wooden beams out here. So they've left them in basically, and the concrete still sits on top. You would normally assume that they'd take the wood out and then it would just be concrete or maybe steel, depending on what the situation is, like corrugated steel. Again, we've seen that before, but the wood is still here, strangely enough. So everything we're witnessing in this shelter is pretty much original. And the fact that it's been cleaned out, because like I said, the original owner, unfortunately she passed away, there was lots of doors and everything else. And there is a door here. There's actually a door with a door knocker on it, and the key actually works. I mean, I'm just speechless. It's a brilliant, brilliant air raid shelter, and I'm just so lucky to sort of see it and witness it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to sort of show you individual bits of it, and then that's pretty much it. Let's have a look. Just quickly just doing some tidying up so I can show you some stuff. Okay, let's get the torchlight in. So let me just quickly show you what I was talking about. Above us is the wooden beams that are going across, but this is the best bit. I love this. So this is the ladder. That is the original ladder that was used for the escape hatch. Very narrow, but it's long enough that it comes out onto this. Be careful of the webs. That's beautiful, isn't it? So that ladder would reach the top. So, and that is it. That's the original ladder. Can you believe that? So the original ladder that's actually going to, that's so cool, isn't it? Again, it's sort of strange because, like I said before, they not necessarily they cut corners, but you would expect for the sort of quality of this shelter, they might have had like some sort of, built-in ladder. But I think it's probably, like Richard was sort of saying as well, it's probably just cheaper, isn't it? You've got a ladder, let's use it for what it is. Do you know what I mean? And then look, this is the cool thing. This is the best. Look at these Bakelite switches and a little fuse box as well. Now that runs into the house. Look at those. Isn't that incredible? That's so cool, isn't it? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then this is the concrete bench that goes right across. Well, like I said, you could easily fit at least a couple of families in this. So it's quite possible it could have been shared. There's no school or anything around it to suggest that this would have been anything more for like anything bigger than that. Because the size is massive. And then this is the door, look. That's what I was sort of saying. The door has got a door knocker on it. Knock, knock, come in to my air raid shelter. And then look, I think that's a Bakelite. Is that Bakelite? It might be. Might be wrong on that, the door handle. And then that's the key for it. And that still turns. I mean, isn't this just so cool? And then look at this. Look at the railing is still here. quite steep steps. God, try saying that. And then look, the wooden frame, the original wooden frame. I mean, all of this. Look at this. Isn't it weird that I'm saying original a lot? That's so rare on this channel, isn't it? Original, look, with the door. I just love that. And that bit of quirkiness, look, knock on the door, come in. Got a couple of coat hangers there as well. And obviously the woman who did own this was using it as storage. So like I said, you know, it's getting a few changes, a few acorns. And this is the drain we were talking about. So that's the drain. And it would either be, I'm gonna just throw out two options just because it could have been used as a toilet. It looks quite small though, but it's in the right area. We know from our history of air raid shelters, if you're gonna put a toilet somewhere, it's gotta be by the entrance, almost near the steps. So that's either you, well, it probably, do you know what, let's just put it out, let's just say it could be used for both. It probably was a toilet with maybe a courtesy blanket going across, curtain, maybe, or maybe not, depending on how, like, you know, mindset they were, but there's nothing to suggest that there was anything permanent that was placed here. So you've got that drain there, but it's also, like I said, just a drain to keep the damp out from any water, and it does work because, like what Richard was sort of saying, that literally the only damp he gets is on these steps, just at the bottom of this section here. And it just all goes in there, and then obviously this shelter itself is just dry. So there you go. I love it. I genuinely think this is one of the coolest shelters I've been in a very, very long time. I'm not just saying that. I think that's so cool. And the beautiful thing is, the light from that escape hatch. So that opens, by the way. It does open. I love it. It's just this natural light coming in. So cool. You know, like I said, then you've got these wooden beams with the concrete sitting on top, and that's original. It's not been changed. You can see the panelling. Look, so if I show you this, excuse all the spiders and the mozzies. So that's your concrete coming in. Look, see how thick that is? But they've left the wooden beams in there. Look. Huh. And there's a few little things they've hung up. Look, little hangers there as well. So you want to hang anything up on here. Look, little hooks. I love it. It's so cool. This really is so cool. Look, there's the back of the door again. Obviously, it's got a handle as well. Hooks. There's a door. As in, like, you know, the other side of the door. I get so excited, I just lose my words. But look at this. So brilliant. Really brilliant. Right. I think what we should do is take you upstairs and just show you the outside. Come on. Right, let's get out. Come on. Right, so I'll show you the outside of it now. So this is the rockery. Beautiful, beautiful, like the fact that obviously this is part of a garden and yet it's so well camouflaged. But it's only when you sort of look at it from either end. So the air raid shelter itself is entrance, escape hatch. Very simple design. Just your rectangular air raid shelter. But it's the fact that it's very customizable, and the fact that, look, you can see what's happened is they've built the rockery within the air raid shelter, and so it's actually blended in really, really well, and you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know anything about it until you saw that, or maybe you saw the entrance. But if you were looking at it from across, you'd see a raised mound, but even that blends in so, so well. Obviously we're in winter time, so it's not going to sort of show the full extent of how beautiful the flowers and everything would grow on this to make it look really, really nice. But you can see we're on a good row of houses here. But the size of it is just impressive. Just for the household here, it looks almost too big, but I love it. I really love that. That does open, by the way. But there's loads of spiders and cobwebs in that. But yeah, and then you've got, like I said, the entrance to the other side. So, so cool. Take you around. Oh, there you go. Well, everybody, I think we've covered this really special air raid shelter. Let's have a conclusion. Come on. Okay, so before the weather gives out, because it's been raining on and off all day so far, just want to say a massive thank you to Richard for allowing me access into this beautiful, beautiful air raid shelter. Thank you, more importantly, for watching, and hopefully you really enjoyed this. Remember, like I said, this is a permission visit, and if you know the location for whatever reason, please keep it to yourself. Obviously, it'd be unfair for some people to just keep knocking on the door. Hopefully you can respect that, but it's never been filmed properly. So another, just a real big honour that I've had just to do this and just have this permission. I'm so lucky I can't stop smiling. This is a really good air raid shelter. How clean was it in there, and the fact that the switches were all in there, and the fact that the story with the ladder, the air, like for the escape hatch, brilliant. You know when it's really good for me, don't you? Because I can't talk properly. I get all like, but yeah, thank you so much to Richard for allowing me access. Like I said, thank you for all of you to watching. As always, the motto, because history matters. Never before, again, do these words really ring true in a place like this hidden history that we have, that is still here, you know, and obviously we know that hopefully that can always be used for generations and generations, that shelter, and obviously be used in whatever purpose it takes flight into, whether it's a games room, a man cave, or whatever. I've seen them all on this channel. Anyway, take care everybody, love to all of you out there. The rain's coming, see y'all very soon, because history matters. Ready? Kapow.